Empire Total War, a game of men. Sometimes women, I don't know. This is a game where two armies come together in the field of battle. There can only be one victor. But this is a 3 vs 3, so there'd probably be 3 victors, and in 4 vs 4s you'd have 4 victors. Back to the point. This is a game where only the strongest minds, best strategies, and overpowered armies will prevail.
Oh, dearie me. Syno, have you taken your meds recently? Hello again, YouTube. This is Pure230688, aka Angelos, and you may have guessed I am doing a duel with the main man, Synoptic. We're doing a 3v3 here. Again, it's an all battle. We're playing against the Gods clan. Synoptic is playing as Prussia on my right. I'm playing as Poland in the centre, and the heir of Carthage is playing as Prussia on the left. Now the Gods players, their names have slipped my mind.
Oh, you know what time it is? Chasm Rush time! So, this might not look much to most viewers, but this is something which sparks our entire attack at the start of the battle. This is one line infantry trying to ninja in clear view, as what it appears, and it's like they had the initiative at the start, and they're about to lose it right now. Only guess, we still don't really know the purpose of this line infantry going here, but it sparks our entire attack, as I said, and this is the beginning of the entire battle. And it's pretty funny how such a small thing can start such a heavy attack, and it will spark an attack which forces us to take the right side, which will isolate my opponent, Sweden, and give Angelos the full right flank.
Yep. Now this, like Syno says, looks trivial, and me and him still haven't really worked out what caused this. It's probably the only thing I can think of is there was a big stalemate. Just like hit and run skirmish tactics were going on, and then I think he felt like he needed to do something, perhaps trying to wedge a gap between our two armies, but sending it down a chasm with our armies on either side on the high ground looking down. Yeah, not the best move ever. Anyway, because this has completely screwed his line up, as you can see, there's only one line on his left now, and the other one's trying to get back in position, and he's shifting units to try and counter. So there's a huge weakness on his flank, which we're going to try and exploit now. Now, Syno and me are going to team up here and get in each other's way in a sec, but the main thing is we're going to team up and we're going to punch through this gap here, because as soon as we find a weak spot, we're going to take the initiative. We don't want to let this weakness go, so we have a stronger force to deal with later. Anyway, your men are now forming up directly behind my line. Yeah, that's good. That's good of you there, Syno, to line up specifically with the intention to shoot my entire guard unit in the back. Thanks for that.
But you don't do much good with the guard, do you? It's pretty useless once it starts moving. I get my shot, and then you move it out of the way.
No.
You move it backwards. Out of all the places to move it, you move the freaking guard backwards. And there's a woodland right in front of it, which would have given us full advantage over the enemy here.
Yeah.
But backwards is nice. Shooting nothing is nice. It is nice.
Well, it was in a good position. It had the best position. It claimed that land in the name of Poland, and what do? You come and blitz them and plonk your unit right.
It's Prussian.
Well, perhaps it is now, but earlier on it was definitely Polish. That guard unit was there specifically to try and hold back the Swedish reinforcements, and now you want the kill, so you've plonked your line unit there, which has forced my guard to redeploy. If I put it in front, then it would have just got shot to pieces.
That's a clear example of the teammate issues in trying to work together. There are a lot of things we did right here, which is skirmishes in front of my line, his skirmishes. But yeah, there are issues with some of the teamwork here. I think I'm bringing a lot of disrupt to your line infantry with my cav. We sent a lot of cav here. It's a very small area, and they were very quick to reinforce this area because they did not want to give this up. It's a very important part of their line here. because as I said before, losing this would isolate my opponent and let you attack quite easily. And he's pretty stretched out, isn't he, your opponent?
Yeah, that's the thing. That is another flaw with their main plan. Is the guy in the centre is taking on far too much, I think. He's put his men, you can see, I'm zooming in on his right contingent here, engaging my left contingent, but his main priority with that right contingent force of his was definitely to back up an attack on the air of Carthage. And he's only left a small, like, what is it, 2/3 of his army to take us on, and he's not shifting any forces to try and help. So he thinks it's very risky. He thinks he can take us on with 2/3 of his army, so it's a very risky strat. You may have just noticed there, Syno drawing some cav into my line, and that's actually quite good, because the more of the enemy cav we can take out, the more flexible and manoeuvrable our forces will be, because the main threat, as Syno finds out later, is the enemy cav. Isn't that right?
Yeah, they had a lot of cav. Well, most of our armies were similar. You're probably noticing no art, because this is an old fight. That was the general rule back in the day. And there's also some more teamwork in the rear. As I said, they're very desperate to stop this attack, and this is a pretty successful rear access from a heavy cav. And if that made it to our battle line, that would pretty much screw it. So just little things like that, possibly changing the tide of the battle. So we just have to keep pushing on and on and on. Like a lot of effort into both attacks from both sides.
Yep. That's the advantage of being in voice chat with your allies, as I was in voice chat with Syno and Air at the time, so we could constantly keep each other updated on what was happening. Because I probably would not have noticed that, as I was focusing a lot of my camera on the centre, so Syno noticed that, and then I am sending my heavy cav over to help swish that Swedish cav that, like Syno said, could have done damage behind our line. Now, the main bulk of the Swedish reinforcements is cav, and he's sending them in to disrupt my line, constantly making me form squares. But I think it's a bit of a waste of his cav, although it's causing me quite heavy losses. The Spanish player is not taking full advantage of this. You can see he's moving line now to like take advantage of the fact I'm in squares, but the Swedish cav is already pulling away, and I will quickly get that unit out of squares, and it will be resume firing again. So there's no advantage gained from him by the fact he's lost all of his cav. And also I've done melee charges here. Now the slight downhill slope with my line causes my units to get huge. I'm actually in guard mode. I gotta stop doing that when I do melee charges, it just looks silly. Anyway, the slight downhill incline actually gives my men a huge advantage. So instead of shooting the Spanish line, which may have caused me a few more losses, I've decided to just go in and melee them. And the impact of the charge has forced those Spanish units to flee.